Welcome, spiritual beings. Have you ever felt like you don't belong here on Earth? Like you are a fish out of the water, searching for a place to call home? If so, you're not alone. Many people feel like they don't fit in with the rest of the world. Feeling like you don't belong can be a lonely and confusing experience, but the good news is that you are not alone, and there are a few possible explanations for why you feel this way. In this video, we'll explore 9 reasons why you might feel like you don't belong here on Earth. So if you've been wondering why you feel like you don't belong, this video is for you. Number 1. You are an introvert. First on our list is that you might be an introvert. If you're not sure what this means, don't worry. All you need to know is that introverts are very different from extroverts. Introverts are quiet and thoughtful and prefer to keep to themselves. Extroverts, on the other hand, are more outgoing and like being around other people. Introverts are more likely to feel like they don't belong because they prefer to be alone. Being alone doesn't mean that you don't like other people. It just means that you prefer to spend time by yourself, doing your own thing, rather than going out and being with lots of people. It's totally normal to be an introvert, but if you feel like you don't fit in because you're an introvert, there are a few things that you can do to feel better. For example, you can create a safe space for yourself, where you can go to be alone. You can also do things that help you recharge when you need to be alone. The thing to know about being an introvert is that it is completely normal to feel like your battery is running out when you are with other people. If you don't know you are an introvert and you are surrounded by more extroverted people, it's normal to feel a bit out of place and that you don't belong here on Earth. The good news? You are by far not alone. There are many introverts out there, and they all share similar traits. The good news is that you can learn to accept who you are and even embrace it. Plus, there is a good chance you will meet people who do not drain you. With them, you will be able to spend a lot of time and still feel good. Who knows? Maybe you will even find a partner who is introverted too, and who will be happy spending their free time quietly at home. Number 2. You feel different from other people. Feeling different from other people isn't a reason in itself, but if you feel like you don't belong because you feel different, there might be a few reasons for this. There are many people who feel different because they were born with a disability. They were born into a different ethnic background. They grew up in a different part of the world, or they are from a different socioeconomic class than the majority of people. If you feel like you don't belong because you feel different, it's important to remember that feeling different is a natural part of life. It's also normal to feel like you stand out in a crowd sometimes. Being different doesn't make you any less worthy than the people around you. Now, it's normal to feel a bit bad when you don't belong. Humans are herd animals, after all. We feel safest when we are part of a group. So if you are feeling bad, it's natural to feel like you don't belong. The good news is that you can start to feel better and learn to accept yourself. You can also learn to manage your emotions better when you don't belong in a group or when you feel like the odd one out. And another great thing, as much as it might feel like you don't belong right now, there are people out there who share traits with you and who will make you feel like you belong. Now, another reason why you might feel down is that you are not where you want to be in life. Number 3. You're not where you want to be in life. Feeling like you don't belong can also be a sign that you're not where you want to be in life. If you feel like you don't belong because you're not happy with your job, relationship, or living situation, you might want to make a change. If you're in a relationship that makes you miserable, for example, or you have a job that you hate, you might feel like you don't belong. Being in a situation that makes you unhappy is a surefire way to make you feel unfulfilled and out of place. But it's important to remember that you can change your circumstances. You have the power to make your life what you want it to be. Life might not be perfect, but it can be close enough to where you want it to be. The thing is, if your life is not where you want it to be, then it is up to you to make a change. So if you feel like you don't belong because you're not where you want to be in life, it's time to make a change. Now, The reason why it's so important to remember that your feelings of not belonging are normal, that feeling bad about yourself or your circumstances is natural from time to time. It's also important to keep in mind that feeling out of place has nothing to do with how much value you have as a human being. Feeling like you don't belong does not mean that something is wrong with you, or that there is something wrong with the people around you. Feeling different just means that we are all human, and we all have our own struggles and our own experiences. Sometimes, this bad feeling can be a catalyst to help us reach our goals faster. So, even though it might not feel good, use this feeling as motivation to get to a point that resonates with you in life. But maybe your life is not the problem. Society is. Number 4. You don't agree with the norms of modern society. Feeling like you don't belong can also be a sign that you don't agree with the norms of modern society. If you have strong political or religious beliefs, you might feel like you don't belong because you don't agree with the rest of the world. If you have New Age and spiritual beliefs, on the other hand, you might feel like you don't belong because you don't feel accepted by people who don't believe like you do. If you feel like you don't belong because you don't agree with the norms of modern society, it's important to remember that you don't have to fit in with everyone else. You can be different and still be happy. Let's be honest, in a lot of ways, society is a little bit messed up right now. There are a lot of things that we do and believe in that don't make sense. For example, in most societies today, we have prejudices against people of different races, religions, and cultures, and we have strict norms about what is considered normal or abnormal. So if you feel like you don't belong because you don't agree with the norms of modern society, remember that it's okay to disagree with society. The good news is, even though you need to be a part of society in some way or another, you still get to choose your own people to surround yourself with. And you still get to create your own values and beliefs. So even if you don't feel like you fit in with the rest of the world, it's still possible to find people who accept you for who you are. You just have to be open to different experiences and different ideas. Number 5. You have a different set of values. Feeling like you don't belong can also be a sign that you have a different set of values than the majority of people. If you have a different set of values than the people around you, you might feel like you don't belong, and you might not feel like you belong in your own community or family. If you want to belong, but you have different values from the people around you, there are a few things that you can do to make yourself feel more comfortable. For example, you can find other people who have the same values as you, or you can surround yourself with people who have a different set of values and then get curious about them. The beautiful thing about values is that they are completely personal, and whatever the values are that you believe in, they make you unique. Sure, that might make you feel like you don't belong here on Earth, but in reality, there will be people with similar values who will make you feel like you fit in. And once you find someone whose values are similar or the same as yours, you will feel like you belong. One important note here: don't change your values for anyone. Trust me, your values are good, and of course, they can shift and change over time. But in general, you shouldn't change them for another person. Now, another reason you might feel like you don't belong on Earth is that you can't connect with other people. Number 6. You have a hard time connecting with people. Feeling like you don't belong can also be a sign that you have a hard time connecting with people. It's normal to have a hard time connecting with others sometimes. But if you feel like you don't belong because you have a hard time connecting with people, there are a few things that you can do to feel better. For example, you can make an effort to get to know the people in your life better. If you have social anxiety, you can learn some techniques to make yourself feel more comfortable in social situations. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that it can be difficult connecting with other people, but a lot of the time, even though we think we are so different from others, we are actually very similar at our cores. You see, we all go through similar experiences. It's just that sometimes, we don't feel like we can talk about those experiences with other people. The good news, once you are vulnerable with someone, that often invites them to be vulnerable with you too. A lot of people are scared of taking that first step towards being vulnerable, but that's often the key to being able to connect with other people. So, if you really want to feel like you belong here on Earth, I recommend that you go out and try connecting with others. Number 7. You don't have a purpose yet. Feeling like you don't belong can also be a sign that you don't have a purpose yet. If you don't know what your purpose in life is, it can be really hard to know how you fit into this world. If you don't know what your purpose is, there are a few things that you can do to try to find it. For example, you can make a list of the things that you enjoy doing, and then you can look for ways to use your skills and interests to make a difference in the world. But most importantly, you can consult your numerology chart, the day, year, and the month that you were born, and also your name that was given to you from birth, can tells you a lot about your destiny. Number 8. You don't feel at home in your body. Feeling like you don't belong can also be a sign that you don't feel at home in your body. If you are unhappy with the way your body looks, you might feel like you don't belong because you don't feel comfortable in your own skin. You might feel like an imposter because you feel like you don't fit into the normal standards of society. You might feel like you don't belong because you feel like you don't fit into this world. If you have a hard time feeling comfortable in your body, there are a few things that you can do to try to feel better. For example, you can do something to take care of your body, like eating healthy and getting enough rest. You can also try to do things that make you feel more confident in your body. Either way, you need to remember that your body is your temple. It's important to treat it in a way that is respectful to your body. And it is also important to remember that you are not your body. Your body is just a shell that allows you to interact with the physical world. But the important thing is that it's not who you are. It's just a part of what makes up your identity. When you have this perspective, it will be easier for you to feel comfortable in your own skin and stop feeling like an imposter in this world. Number 9. You are an empath. If you feel like you don't belong, it might be because you are an empath. Empaths have a very sensitive sense of perception and feel everything intensely. Because of this, they are often overwhelmed by the energy of other people, which can cause them to feel like they don't belong here on Earth or do not fit in with the rest of the world. What makes empaths different from other people is that they absorb energy from other people and their environment to fuel their own emotions. Because empaths become overwhelmed by other people's energy, they tend to avoid large groups or crowds, preferring smaller groups of close friends instead. This is one reason why empaths may feel like they don't fit in. If you are an empath, it's important to understand your power and to try and see it as a gift rather than a curse. It's important to try and learn how to harness your power so that you can use it to help other people and be a positive force in the world. There are also things you can do to physically take care of yourself, like eating healthy, getting enough rest, and exercising regularly. You should also reach out for support from friends and family members who love you unconditionally. Learn to take breaks from other people when you need to recharge, and learn to protect your energy. Once you do those things, you will be okay. I hope you find this video helpful. Thank you for watching. Go with love. Let love guide you, not fear.